kind of crappy lighting here.
Yeah. So I'm here with Krista Curtis from Recap, and thank you very much for taking the time, Krista, to join me on this little interview that we have going for our eTech 522 analysis. I'm asking maybe you can provide me just a brief description of what Recap is.
Sure. Recap is a student video response and reflection app that enables teachers to prompt questions either through text or video, send them to students on a device like an iPad or computer, and coming soon mobile phones as well. And then the students would respond to those questions on video. And then the nice thing is that each of these videos are automatically uploaded to the cloud where the teacher can review all in one spot.
So did students join the classroom to take part in accessing the videos that the teacher puts out, or the teacher accessed by the student inputs?
So the teacher would set up their class ahead of time and can add students to their class, or have them sign up and join using their email address and password.
Awesome. I'm just wondering if you could describe to me what the core mission of Recap is.
Sure. The core mission of Recap is to expand students' abilities to basically expand the teacher's ability to assess their students in ways that they couldn't before. So being able to see a video of a student explaining something is oftentimes easier to understand what's actually going on with that student than reading something that they wrote. A lot of times it's also easier for kids to, or better for them in certain situations, to respond by speaking rather than writing.
Do you find that brings out, you were just mentioning at the end there about students that have a difficulty, feel more comfortable by expressing themselves through talking? Do you find that the feedback you're getting from teachers is that some of the students that they may not have been able to reach are sharing more?
Yeah, I've gotten feedback from teachers that say that students are able to explain things that, like, sometimes they get writer's block. Like, they may be able to speak a mile a minute, but as soon as you put a piece of paper and pencil, then they can't say anything. So it's in certain cases, it's more important to just understand, is a student really understanding this, and not assess their writing skills. Yeah, and a lot of teachers just like, if a student can explain something in their own words rather than regurgitating written information, which often happens when kids are just writing something, then they really know they understand the subject.
Awesome. So one of the things that we have to do in this master's course is we have to do an elevator pitch on a product that we have to come up with. So if I was to ask you to present to me in 1 minute an elevator pitch for what Recap is, what would you say?
Yeah, so Recap is, like I said earlier, is a student response and reflection app that enables students to respond to their teachers' questions on video. And the way that we've designed Recap is so easy that this is something that can be done during class, at the end of class, or for homework. Reaches students wherever they are. It opens up deep insights into student learning, enables them to respond in ways that they're more comfortable to really assess what's going on with that student. Yeah.
That's pretty good in 1 minute. Your product came to me through a teacher that I work with here in our province, in one of our intermediate schools, that told me to check it out. So I started doing some investigation into Recap and found there's a relationship between you and Swivel. Is Swivel related to you in some way? Are they a parent company, or is there a relationship there?
Yeah, so we're a part of Swivel. So Recap is just an app within the Swivel brand, yeah, we're kind of one and the same thing, just an app within the
You dropped off at the end there.
Yeah, we are a part of Swivel, and um, same team. So just another app within our brand.
So what's your role with Recap, Krista?
So I am the product owner for Recap, which means that I am responsible for making sure that we are building what our users want, that users don't have a problem, and the roadmap for what kind of features we're coming up with next.
So being part of Swivel, was the gem the idea developed by Swivel and pushed out for development, or were there additional investments that were brought on to fill a need? How how did that germination of that idea for Recap come about?
Sure, yeah. So Swivel, our product is mostly made for teacher professional development. And what we wanted to do was get more in front of students, because we felt like there was a lot of value that we could add to more everyday use than just for teacher professional development. And the way that we developed the product, we went through a full UX design process, which involved straight out just interviewing teachers. Like, what can we do to help? Like, what kind of challenges are you having in the classroom? And we went through a few different iterations, starting with just the interviews, then showing prototypes of ideas that we got from those interviews, and then 3 different phases of iterating on those prototypes till we came out with something that we felt really confident in.
So in that process, did you find that there was much competition in this genre already existing in the marketplace, or is it something completely new that you guys are sharing?
We haven't really found anything much like Recap. We're kind of in a little bit of a different space. There are a lot of companies that are focusing on student portfolios where you might be able to upload a video, or there might be products that like Kahoot where you can assess students formatively. We're kind of a formative assessment tool as well. But we do feel like we're a bit different than what's out there.
So your CEOs in the company, are they the same for Swivel as they are for Recap?
Yeah. Our CEO is Brian Lamb, and we also have a co-founder who's Vlad Tittelbaum.
Interesting. Both of them. I've done a little bit of research on them as I'm getting to know your products a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting gentlemen. How long did it take to go from conception to launch of your product to get it out there in the marketplace?
Yeah, so let's see. So our first interview process was about 9 months ago. That's before we even knew what we were building. And it took us about 3-4 months to figure out what exactly we were going to build. And then once we had our initial prototype, from there it took us about 3 months to get our first private beta release out, where we invited about 1,000 teachers to join and try it out. And then from there, mid-March is when we launched publicly. So it's been a quick release cycle, and we're still really new.
Saying earlier on about you started the exploration, but you didn't really know what you were going to build. Like, I know just sort of the technology background that, say, with Swivel has and the features that it can offer. Is it through those interviews that you had with teachers' needs that of Recap came together?
Not sure I understand the question. Could you repost?
Yeah. So earlier on, you were just saying that when you started the journey to make Recap, you weren't quite sure what you were building. Mm-hmm. Was it through the interviews that you had with teachers that sort of the need or the direction that the product took shape and came from?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a huge believer in the user experience design process, which and uh, human-centered design. So we don't just build something and expect somebody to use it. We build based on deep insights from the people that we're building the products for. So definitely the teachers that we interviewed shaped what Recap is.
So after you've launched the beta, was there much, were there many changes that were added before this was launched, sort of out past beta stage?
Um, yeah, I mean, uh, nothing core to the way a student interacts with the app. Um, but there were some changes on like how students might log in or how the teacher views the information. And actually, since launch, one of the big features that we did add was the ability for teachers to leave feedback on text feedback on student videos after the fact, which was something very, very popular. And we're going to continue to
How
iterate.
about, sorry, go ahead.
And we're going to continue to iterate on Recap to add more features that teachers want, and will help students with the app.
Is it a difficult app for students and teachers to catch on to, or is it pretty intuitive that once they're on it, it's kind of self-explanatory?
Oh, it's really, really simple, and that's definitely one of the things that people love to say about it, is that it's so easy to use. It like especially for students, like that was our number one goal. Is we don't want to have teachers or students fumbling around on how to figure out how to use it. It needs to be quick, something that you can do at the end of class and go. So as soon as a student logs in, if they have a question available, it pops up. There's a big button, and they click respond. So we definitely are very proud of how easy it is to use.
Awesome. Is there a cost associated with the product now? And if not, is there a plan in the future to charge for it?
Currently, Recap is 100% free. In the future, features that we might not have designed yet could be for a fee. It's a possibility.
Awesome. So is the goal to make this device agnostic as well? So whether it's a laptop or a Chromebook or an iPad, or is this accessible from all of those platforms?
Yeah, absolutely. We already work on laptops, Chromebooks, any kind of computer that has a camera and microphone. Plus, we are already on iPads, and this summer we're going to be on Androids and iPhones. So, anywhere a student is.
So one of the, I guess I'll end with this question. At the end of the video that I watched, TeacherCast, the question was asked for, where do you see this product changing or going in the future? And at the time, you asked the viewers of that video to give you some feedback of what they thought. If I was just to ask you, where do you see Recap sort of melding into the future, or growing into other areas? What would you say is going to happen?
So with the success that we saw with incorporating the feedback feature, I do feel like we are going to add and improve in a lot in the classroom collaboration through sharing videos, allowing students to comment on other students' videos. So that's where I see in the short term where we're going to go.
Awesome. I do have one more question. I was thinking as you were answering it there. What do you think the role of video is in Integral, I guess? Do you see it playing a larger part as we go forward?
I think the role of video in the last 10 years has really changed the face of education. With flipped learning, with sites like Khan Academy, and being able to differentiate student learning. And I see that's going to continue to increase and be more interactive.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to stop the broadcast here right now. Thank you for taking the time with me this afternoon, Krista. I really do appreciate it.